What is HIV? Understanding the virus transmission and living with HIV. Hey everyone! Welcome to today's video. Today we're diving into an important topic, HIV. So what exactly is HIV? Well, HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It's a virus that attacks your immune system, which is the part of your body that helps you fight off infections and stay healthy. When HIV weakens the immune system, it makes it a lot harder for your body to defend itself against things like viruses, bacteria, and even certain cancers. Now, it's super important to understand what HIV is, not just because it affects millions of people worldwide, but also because there's a lot of stigma and misunderstanding surrounding it. By learning more about how HIV works and how it's transmitted, we can break down those barriers, support prevention efforts, and help those living with HIV lead better, healthier lives. In this video, we'll go over a few key things. What HIV is, how it's transmitted, how it affects the body's immune system, and we'll also bust some myths about HIV along the way. So stick around. Whether you're here to learn for yourself or to support a loved one, you'll leave with a clearer understanding of this virus. Let's get started. Alright, let's start by answering the big question. What exactly is HIV? Now, HIV is short for Human Immunodeficiency Virus, but let's break that down a bit more. First off, HIV is what we call a retrovirus. What does that mean? Well, it's a type of virus that targets our immune system, which is our body's defense system. And more specifically, it goes after CD4 cells. These are a kind of white blood cell that play a huge role in keeping our immune system functioning properly. You can think of them as the frontline soldiers in your body's defense against infections. When HIV infects these CD4 cells, it actually uses them to make more copies of itself, which ends up destroying the cells in the process. Over time, this weakens the immune system, and as the number of CD4 cells drops, the body becomes more vulnerable to other infections or diseases. This is why HIV can be so dangerous if it's not treated.
Now, you've probably also heard the term AIDS, and sometimes people use HIV and AIDS like they're the same thing, but that's not quite right. So let me clear this up. HIV is the virus, and AIDS, which stands for Acquired Immunodeficiency Syndrome, is the advanced stage of HIV infection. AIDS happens when the immune system has been severely damaged because the virus has been attacking those CD4 cells for a long time. So basically, if someone's living with HIV and they don't get treatment, the virus continues to replicate, weakening their immune system more and more. Eventually, their immune system can't defend the body against even minor infections or illnesses, and that's when HIV can progress to AIDS. But, and this is important, with modern medicine, specifically antiretroviral therapy, ART, people living with HIV can prevent it from progressing to AIDS. They can live long, healthy lives if they take the right steps.
Now let's talk about how HIV actually works inside the body. The virus itself can't survive outside the body for very long. It needs a host, and that host is you, or more specifically your CD4 cells. Here's what happens. When HIV enters your body, it finds a CD4 cell and essentially hijacks it. It inserts its genetic material into the CD4 cell, turning that cell into a little factory for making more HIV. Once the virus has made enough copies, it breaks out of the cell, destroying it in the process, and moves on to infect more cells. And this process repeats over and over. This is why, over time, if someone doesn't get treatment, their immune system weakens to the point where it can't fight off even simple infections like the flu or more serious infections like tuberculosis. These are called opportunistic infections, and they're the reason HIV can be so life-threatening without proper care.
Okay, now let's talk about the types of HIV. Yep, there's more than one type.
There are actually two main types of the virus: HIV-1 and HIV-2. HIV-1 is the most common form globally and is the one we talk about most often. It's responsible for the majority of infections worldwide. Then there's HIV-2, which is a little less aggressive and mostly found in West Africa. It's less easily transmitted and tends to progress more slowly, but it's still serious and can lead to AIDS if untreated. Now, the reason you hear more about HIV-1 is because it's responsible for the global pandemic, and most of the research and treatments have been developed for this type. But understanding the difference between these two helps us get a clearer picture of how diverse this virus can be.
So, to sum up this section, HIV is a virus that targets your immune system, specifically those all-important CD4 cells. Over time, if it's not treated, it weakens your immune system, making it harder for your body to fight infections. While HIV is the virus, AIDS is the advanced stage of HIV. And the key difference is that AIDS happens when the immune system is severely damaged. But with the right treatment like antiretroviral therapy, HIV doesn't have to progress to AIDS, and people can live long, healthy lives. We've also got two main types of HIV. HIV-1, which is the most common worldwide, and HIV-2, which is mainly found in West Africa. Both are serious, but HIV-1 is the more aggressive and widespread type. Alright, that's it for this section. Up next, we'll talk about how HIV is transmitted. How does this virus actually spread from person to person? Stick around because you'll want to know the facts to protect yourself and others.